For OU, Coach Venables and the Sooners beating Tulsa 66-17. As for Cincinnati last week, losing to Miami of Ohio 31-24 in overtime. All right. UC, after all these years, finally in the Power 5. In the Big 12, and it shouldn't be any other way.
They have been waiting here for years for a spot at the table, a seat at the table, if you will, and they've got it right now.
Oklahoma won the toss, deferred Cincinnati. And it's fair caught by Ryan Montgomery. So that brings on the transfer quarterback, Emory Jones, last year at Arizona State, prior to that at Florida.
Emory Jones has been in big environments. This is something that they want to lean on, is the fact that he is such an experienced quarterback. One of the things he's got to avoid is the big mistake. He has thrown a number of interceptions in his career. But again, I go back to his legs. Their ability to run the football is what this offense is all about. And today, I believe they'll need to run number 5 in order to have an effective day on the ground.
He ran for 101 yards last week against Miami of Ohio and a touchdown. To throw it on first down, checks it down to the near side. Ball caught, and this is his favorite target. Florida transfer to Xavier Henderson offensively for the Bearcats.
They want to get downhill in that run game, Gus, and they did a great job against Pitt, and really for the majority of the season, good offensive line up front. They're very good at running back. They can roll really 3 deep. Corey Kiner is a guy that I really like. And Xavier Henderson, who just got that first catch, he has come out gangbusters. Transfer from Florida, was their leading receiver a year ago. And Emory Jones certainly has a great rhythm with him early in the season.
2nd and 6 at the 29 after the 4-yard gain. And they'll run it with Corey Kiner, the LSU transfer. Not a lot. Ethan Downs with the tackle defensively for the Sooners.
Well, you've heard Coach Meyer talk about it all day long. Brent Venables has his fingerprints on this defense, and they are what I would call a varied defense. They will give you all sorts of different looks throughout the game. A guy to keep an eye on, though, is Danny Stutzman, number 28. He's their best player on defense. He's the Big 12's leading tackler so far this year, as he was, Gus, all the season last year.
3rd down and 6 at the 29 for Cincinnati. Pistol formation. Kiner, the deep man. Here's Jones to throw it underneath, caught, and not enough for a first down. This time it's D. Wiggins, and Wiggins stopped by McCullough, and that's a 4-yard gain. That'll force the Bearcats to punt it away as they go 3 and out on their opening drive.
That was a great sign for Oklahoma. That was Desan McCullough with that tackle, a transfer from Indiana, highly touted recruit at Indiana, transferred to Oklahoma, and was one of the transfers that they really pointed at that suggested they were going to be better on defense.
Mason Fletcher will send it away. Gavin Freeman, the deep man, he had an 82-yard punt return for a touchdown against Arkansas State in the season opener, and this one will be down deep in Oklahoma territory at the 10. So for the Sooners, Dylan Gabriel in his 2nd year as the quarterback for Oklahoma after 3 seasons at UCF, comes on the field for the first time.
And he is also an extremely experienced quarterback. This is his 41st start. And by the way, 28 of them have been with his offensive coordinator here at Oklahoma, Jeff Levy. This is a quick offense, Gus. We better be ready right now because this is going to be high tempo, the ball out quickly near or at the line of scrimmage most of the day.
So after the 57-yard punt, Oklahoma starts from their own 10-yard line. And on first down, they throw it to the far side, and this ball caught. Andrell Anthony, the Michigan transfer, who's really flourishing in this Oklahoma system. Let's take a look at the Sooners on 0.
Well, that offensive line has got a big test against the Cincinnati defensive line, but that matchup on the outside, Gus, that's where OU has the advantage. Cincinnati
Defense swarming here as the Dante Corleone comes up with the tackle. And some feel, folks, that he is a Sunday player.
I can tell you, not even that I feel like that. He is a Sunday player. Absolutely one of the best defensive tackles in America.
Loss of 4, 2nd and 14. They run it over the left side. Here's Drake Stoops. Drake Stoops had 2 touchdowns last week against Tulsa. Gains 5 here.
Look how fast they're moving now on a big 3rd down, Gus.
Third down 9. At the 22. Dylan Gabriel. That one. Handle. Thrown to the sideline and incomplete. Jalil Farouk, the intended receiver, as Oklahoma botches the snap and they'll punt it away.
Andrew Rame snaps the ball. Gabriel was looking over at the motion and hits his shoulder. What a fortuitous bounce right here that Gabriel's able to corral that ball and try to get it out. Ends up just throwing it away, and Oklahoma is going to have to punt it away.
Braden Smith, the deep man for the Bearcats, standing at his own 30-yard line. Josh Plaster inside his own 10, ready to send it away. Here's Plaster with time, delivers. And the ball goes out of bounds. Cincinnati will have very good field position at the 41-yard line. Time for today's game flow, sponsored by Progressive. Incredible atmosphere here in the Queen City. Bearcats, Sooners get down on Fox. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. Next Level Moments need the Next Level Network. And by Progressive Insurance, protect the stuff you love with Renters Insurance. No score from Cincinnati here in the first quarter. Oklahoma taking on these Bearcats. I tell you what, this sun is bright, Joel Klatt.
Hey,
we're basically blind up here. What a day.
I love it, though. This is a highly charged atmosphere here at Nippert Stadium.
On first down, Jones over the middle. And he'll move it forward. Incomplete pass. That ball intended for D. Wiggins.
They are going to have to get this run game going, and it's something that Oklahoma understands that they're going to have to play stout up front. And again, I think this is a really big addition for OU is Desan McCullough, #1. I touched on it for Brent Venables' defense. He's been injured since basically about the 5th snap of the season. This is a really good hybrid-style player that plays linebacker/safety, the cheetah position. They're really happy to have him back.
Second down and 10 of the 41-yard line. And Kiner, nice piece of running for Corey Kiner, Jr. He's a Cincinnati native, although he's traveled around college football.
Above and Beyond, sponsored by Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above. This is the run game, Gus. They are a sub above. They've had 200 yards as a team in all 3 games so far, whether it's Emory Jones last week, Corey Kiner, Ryan Montgomery, a 5th-year player, got in the action a week ago and ran the ball effectively. But this is where they have to live as an offense in order to get to the play-action pass later in the day.
Gain of 11 on the play. First down at the 48. Not a lot of room as Danny Stutzman comes up and makes the play.
Yeah, how about Stutzman just getting right into the middle of this line of scrimmage, and this is an attacking style of defense. Look at him get back there before the pulling fullback can even get there, and Emory Jones has got nowhere to go. This is one of the reasons why Stutzman has been such a tackle machine. This is a defense that loves to make their call late from the sideline once they see the signal from the offense and the formation from the offense. It's one of those deals that offenses have to game plan.
Stutzman with an interception, return for touchdown last week. That ball thrown out of bounds. Jones under a lot of pressure.
So that was Jaron Kanik, #7. And this is just an all-out blitz, bringing one more than the offense can block. And Kanik in there before Emory Jones has a chance and brings up a long yardage situation. This is where you got to think about protection, maybe a screen here or a draw to one of these backs.
Third down and 12 at midfield. Cincinnati took over with great field position at their own 41-yard line, trying to get into Oklahoma territory. Emory Jones with time, lofts it up the sideline, back shoulder, and incomplete. But a flag on the play.
Well, they went for Xavier down the sideline, and Henderson was working against Gentry Williams, number 9. And Williams makes all sorts of contact with him as the ball arrives and didn't allow him to get back to that football. That's why the flag came out.
And undersized defensive backs have been an Achilles heel for Oklahoma over the last few years.
Pass interference. Defense number 9. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Seems like whether it was even back to the Bob Stoops days, then through Lincoln Riley, and now with Brent Venables, they've been trying to get more length at the corner position. Gentry Williams was a highly rated recruit, just a true sophomore out of Tulsa. He is 6 foot. But Gus, Xavier Henderson is 6'3", 200 pounds. So certainly giving up some size on the outside.
Bearcats keep the chains moving. First down and 10 at the 35. Ryan Montgomery checks in at running back for Cincinnati. And they'll give it to him over the right side with a huge hole and a burst. Ryan Montgomery all the way down to the Oklahoma 20-yard line. Panic with the tackle.
Great double team up front. Then watch the fullback go and get the second level player. And then you've got Montgomery with a huge hole right there. Excellent job up front by that offensive line. And this is something that they have got to get to. It's that downhill physical running attack. And they feel like Oklahoma has not been tested defensively yet this year. They want to make sure that they're being physical early.
Montgomery with 20 carries for 104 yards against Miami of Ohio last week. First and 10 at the Oklahoma 22. Jones in motion. And he just dumps it out of bounds, scrambling out of the pocket.
Boy, that's at least now 2 or 3 times that we've seen a linebacker right in Emory Jones' face immediately. Some missed assignments up front so far by the offensive line. But again, it's the way Oklahoma wants to run their defense. They give you all sorts of different structures. 3 linemen, 4 linemen, and then they call those linebackers into blitzes based on the signal of the offense.
Second down and 10 to the 22. Kiner back in at running back for UC. And this time, Jones, option. And that one smelled. And it's Smith taking care of it. Braden Smith. Stopped by Bowman, Billy Bowman. No gain on the play.
Well, now it's about protection. Gus, third down. Got to protect the quarterback. We've seen those linebackers on the blitzes right in Emory Jones's face. They got to shore up the middle of the protection and try to get to Xavier Henderson or one of these big wide receivers on the outside.
Third down and 10 at the 22. Emory Jones and Kiner line up in the backfield together. Big play here for UC. Quarterback run. And nothing doing. Oklahoma well schooled as Jared Kennick comes up and makes the tackle. And this is what happened last week against Miami of Ohio. Cincinnati will get either close to the red zone or right outside the red zone and have to settle for field goals.
It was a huge problem last week. Outgained Miami of Ohio by almost 200 yards. Ran 91 plays, but stalled out in the scoring territory several times and had to settle for field goals. That's not going to get the job done.
So Carter Brown comes in to attempt the field goal. This one from 39 yards away. Got it up. And good. Cincinnati striking first blood. They'll settle for the field goal at home against OU. 9 a.m. Pacific. Patrick Mahomes Sr. was a major league pitcher.
You know, and as we are ever so close to October, I can't wait to see Derek Jeter on that postseason baseball desk here at Fox. That's going to be something to see.
Especially with Alex Rodriguez. That's going to really be fun. Yeah, Cincinnati sends it away. Farouk fakes the reverse, and he is ambushed at the 18-yard line. He'll get to the 19. Great tackle on special teams. Malik Van leading the charge.
Well, this offensive line has got quite the test today, don't they, Gus, against this defensive line?
I mean, they got some kids on this defensive line for Cincinnati. Dante Corleone and Juwan Briggs are 2 big-time players.
It's the best tandem in the Big 12, maybe in America, up front. And Corleone in particular, he's just a young player. I don't think he even realizes how good he is at the nose tackle position.
And both of these defenders are hungry. How about this? Farouk trying to reverse, and they get to him quickly. No gain on the play. Jordan Young there defensively.
I tell you, Corleone, there he is. You can't block him with a single player. You've got to double number 2 or he will make the play.
Second down and 10 at the 19-yard line. Underneath. This ball caught at the 30-yard line. Beautiful route. And it's caught by Gavin Freeman.
Yeah, nice route right there, right inside of Ken Willis's inside shoulder, and a first down.
11-yard gain. First down at the 30. Oklahoma trying to go fast.
Boy, what a great play there by Jordan Young. He almost intercepted that. They were trying to run a little screen on the outside. Watch number 1, Jordan Young, react immediately. Going to try to be blocked right there by Austin Stogner, but Gus almost picked it off.
Stogner, an interesting story. He left with the South Carolina to play with Spencer Rattler, came back to OU. And Gabriel on the move, lefty, that ball incomplete. Cincinnati defense really swarming Andrell Anthony, the intended receiver.
I tell you, Byron Threats almost picked that one off. Got away with a little push off, but here's the big down. Can they get pressure on Dillon Gabriel? They said yesterday they had to get to 3rd and long so they could try to produce some pressure. We'll see if they get aggressive right here with a blitz.
Gabriel starts 3 of 6, 3rd and 10 at the 30-yard line. Gabriel to the sideline. Caught out of bounds and a first down. Terrific job. Jalil Farouk managed to keep his feet in.
I really like Jalil Farouk. I think he's going to have a big year. He's 6'1", over 200 pounds, runs good routes. Good catch right there for a first down.
From the 49, they go deep. Incomplete. Wow, Farouk was open. Too much air under that one for Dillon Gabriel.
If there is a knock against Dillon Gabriel, it's that when he has open receivers down the field, he tends to overthrow them. That was the tendency last year. It was better last week against Tulsa, but unfortunately that one just out of the reach of Jalil Farouk.
Second down and 10 at the 49. Gabriel running it this time with a seam, and he'll drag a defender forward and get to the Cincinnati 43 before being stopped. Dorian Jones with the tackle. Oklahoma quickly to the line of scrimmage. Sideline throw, another completion. Now they're finding a rhythm. This time it's Anthony.
What they're getting is soft coverage from those corners who do not want to get beat deep, so they're just taking what the defense gives right underneath.
First down at the 37. Gabriel slings it out near side. Another catch. And it's Nick Anderson.
And unfortunately, there is a Bearcat down, and I believe that's Corleone. That would be a devastating loss for Cincinnati. Let's hope that he is okay. Dante Corleone, as we've been talking about, just a redshirt sophomore, 6'2", 320 pounds, and the cornerstone of this defense.
Corleone on his feet. Great sign for UC. 10th play of the drive coming up for Oklahoma.
Well, it just seems like OU is not going to try to run the football against that defensive line, but they've got those hitches on the outside, Gus, and they've just gone right down the field, taking the easy completion.
First down. And Gabriel trying to get outside. Does with a block. And it'll go out of bounds inside the Cincinnati 15, chased out by Taj Ward.
Good block by Marcus Major, and on the outside by Drake Stoops. Watch on the outside. In order for Gabriel to get there, there's Stoops, number 12. Excellent block.
They hand it off, and it's Major around the right side. Stood up and dropped close to the 10-yard line. No gain on the play.
And had a hole, would have got the first down, maybe more. but slipped because he tried to cut off of that inside foot rather than his outside foot. And here an opportunity, if you're Cincinnati, after a positive offensive series, a chance to get off the field and force Oklahoma to kick it.
This is one of the best crowds you'll see in college football, folks. Small stadium, little over 40,000, but these kids know how to get it going. Dylan Gabriel, and he is belted, loses the ball. Cincinnati says they have it, and they do. Bearcats forcing a turnover. Oklahoma comes up empty.
OU continues to try to run the quarterback. It's been their most effective way to run the ball so far here in the first quarter. But here's Byron Threats. Remember, he had a chance earlier in this first quarter for an interception and dropped it. Now he's got a chance to knock the ball loose, and he's able to do so. Fumble from Gabriel, and Cincinnati holds in the red zone.
Bearcats playing their first ever Big 12. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years. And welcome back, 3-zip. Bearcats on top of the Sooners here in the first quarter. 7 turnover forced by Cincinnati's defense this year. And that was OU's 3rd turnover of the season. First down to the 10-yard line for UC. Emory Jones, the quarterback. Play fake. Jones dancing. Fires sideline with the receiver. Did he get him? And it is a catch. Xavier Henderson, who had 12 grabs last week against Miami of Ohio.
Boy, this was awfully close. Let's see if he controls and then gets a toe down. And boy, that is right next to the line, Gus. Hard to tell, and they will take another look at this, and rightly so. Beautiful body control from Xavier Henderson, and again, he was Florida's leading receiver last year. He's got a lot of talent, and he was there in Gainesville with Emory Jones. They've got a great history. I don't think he was in. I think that right foot is on the white line. He did not get the left foot down prior. To me, I would say that this is an incompletion.
If it stands, it's a 22-yard gain. And that begs a question, Joel. You're the leading receiver at another school. Why would you transfer?
Well,
what's happening with these kids?
Well, there's always turnover, and there was also quarterback questions at Florida. Remember, Anthony Richardson went to the National Football League. Florida did not have a quarterback until they went out into the transfer portal and got Graham Mertz from Wisconsin. Meanwhile, if you're Xavier Henderson, there's a known commodity in your mind in Emory Jones, whom you have a relationship with, and you can join here at Cincinnati. There's also the element of NIL and how that affects players and where they want to play and what opportunities they have in that landscape.
How does it go now, Joel? And you would know this better than everybody. A player wants to transfer. Does he call another school or enter the transfer portal and they start negotiating a fee?
You bring up a good question, Gus, because there's what is designed to happen and then what actually happens. If you talk to coaches around the country, they will lament the fact that they feel like there is tampering.
After further review, the ruling of on the field as a catch is standing. First down.
That's a surprising call to me based on our looks. Now, going back to that conversation, you know, there is a thought that there are handlers, third parties involved that are talking with and offering deals to players that are currently on rosters. That would technically be against the rules. But the way that it's supposed to work is a player enters the transfer portal and then he is free to be recruited by another place, and that would include a potential NIL deal.
We need to get in the transfer portal.
Hey, you and me?
That's right.
What do you think? What is our NIL?
I think it'd be pretty big. First down and 10 at the 32.
It might not be Shedeur Sanders big, but it'd be pretty big.
Oh, yeah, I don't think we'll be driving Maybachs or Rolls Royces. And they'll hand it off. Montgomery crashes forward, gets to the 35. Terry with the tackle. Gain of 2.
This is an offense, like I said last week, and you obviously alluded to it as well. They moved the ball very well against Miami of Ohio. Outgained them by well over 180 yards. Just could not execute in the scoring area. And part of what they want to lean on is this run game. And they've got to get to it.
Second down, 8 yards to go at the 34. Handoff. Montgomery looking, nothing doing. That Oklahoma defense stout as Bothroyd comes up with the tackle.
Bothroyd did a great job of breaking through from this tackle position. Watch as he fights through a double team, and then he's able to make a tackle in the backfield. And that's something that is a staple of Venables' defenses, is the ability to make tackles for loss behind the line of scrimmage. And that's certainly what Oklahoma has done so far this year.
Loss of 1. Third down and 9 at the 33. Miles Montgomery now in the game at running back. Emory Jones over the middle, incomplete. Had a receiver that broke open late. It was Henderson. Just couldn't put it on him.
Looked like Jones's timing was just a bit quicker than Xavier Henderson. Had him open, but the ball was thrown just a hair early. He's working against Woody Washington, the most experienced corner that Oklahoma has. And there he's open, but you can tell that ball was thrown before Henderson was ready, and Cincinnati will have to punt it away.
Mason Fletcher inside his own 20. Freeman the deep man for OU. Freeman at the 28. Tries to get up the sideline and is tracked down from behind and goes down at the 35. 40-yard punt and a 9-yard return. All eyes are on guess who? Coach Prime and Colorado for the game of the year next big dude Saturday. Quarterback Shedeur Sanders leads the Buffaloes against Caleb Williams, the Heisman Trophy winner, and the Trojans. It all starts at 10 Eastern with big new kickoff back in Boulder. Then USC Colorado next Saturday at noon Eastern time.
Boy, watching those two players, Caleb Williams and Shedeur Sanders, they've been two of the best players in the entire sport so far.
Heisman hopefuls. Gabriel checks it down on that hitch again, and it's Farouk with blockers in front of him, and he'll get inside Cincinnati territory. Great play, terrific execution. Threats with the tackle.
And again, just a short, easy completion, and then wide receivers doing work after the catch. 26-yard gain. First down. Gabriel pumps, surveys, checks it down over the middle. Walker and Tyree Walker dragged down inside the 25 by Ken Willis. Give a lot of credit to Dillon Gabriel. They were trying to dial up a little double move, get a wheel route down the sideline. It wasn't there, and he had to check it down, but he did so quickly that it allowed Tyree Walker some space and ability to get loose after the catch.
I don't know, Joel. This is my 13th year calling college football, 13 years calling Oklahoma football games straight, and it seems like the Sooners go faster now than they did during the Lincoln Riley era.
I know it, man, and they are moving hyper fast. That's Jack Dingle, by the way, who's the Bearcat on the field, the linebacker. This is a team that is trying to replace Ivan Pace Jr. at that linebacker spot, who was the AAC Defensive Player of the Year a year ago, now in the NFL. And Dingle, a redshirt sophomore, had 16 tackles on the year so far. And up under his own power, moving to the sideline. Always good to see that.
Don't forget, you can find all of Joel's Breaking the Huddle content at foxsports.com, the Fox Sports app, and CFB on Fox social platform. Cincinnati had 3 players selected in the 2023 NFL Draft. Trey Tucker, 3rd round with the Raiders. Tyler Scott, 4th round with the Bears. And Josh Wiley, 5th round with the Titans. Here's the run. Walker. Tawi picking his way forward, finally stopped by Dorian Jones.
And really their most successful run with a running back all day long.
And Gabriel throws the slant underneath, caught inside the 5. Nick Anderson.
You can just tell the big body, 6'4", 207. And he's just outmanning Jordan Young, who's only 6 foot.
Tyree Walker in the backfield now. And they'll give it to him straight ahead. And Walker hit as he crosses the line of scrimmage. Not a lot. No gain on the play.
With Gabriel as a left-hander here, you've got to watch out for him rolling to his left, and then you get Drake Stoops out in the flat as fast as you possibly can.
And they'll dump it down. Ball caught and a touchdown. Looks like Nick Anderson will fall forward. And Oklahoma is in the end zone for 6.
That's utilizing the strength of what your quarterback can do. The left-handers on the right hash, get him moving out to his left and get an easy completion right in front of him. This time it's to the big wide receiver, Nick Anderson, who is, I got to tell you, primed for a big year. Finally healthy, Gus, younger brother of Rodney Anderson, and this is a guy that could be very special for these Sooners.
6 plays covering 66 yards. Sooners lightning up and down the field. They score in 1 minute and 47 seconds. Zach Schmidt in for the extra point, and it's good. 7-3, OU takes their first lead of the game.
What you get is you get action in the run game here, and then Anderson is going to come all the way from the backside, and that is very hard to defend. The key is you get Drake Stoops out in front, and then that opens up the interior where Anderson can just catch that little flip and take it north and south, get himself going to the end zone, and finally across that goal line.
Anderson caught 3 passes last week against Tulsa, all for touchdowns. And Gabriel really spreading it around. He's already hit 6 receivers last week. 11 Sooners caught passes.
I'm really bullish on Nick Anderson, and so is this coaching staff. This is the type of guy that I think could have a major impact on this season. They're really good on the outside. They're even better. They're going to a different level when they put Nick Anderson on the field. His speed, his size, his physical nature, and you saw all that on display on that series.
But the big question surrounding Oklahoma is the defense, and we'll get a chance to see him again right now. A lot of new players on this Oklahoma defense, Joel.
They've had to rebuild, and this was, at least a year ago for Brent Venables, one of the worst defenses really in Oklahoma history, and certainly of the Venables tenure, whether he was at Oklahoma or Clemson as a coordinator. They gave up over 30 points and over 400 yards, which is tough to fathom with his history as a coordinator. They rebuilt the defensive line, 6 transfers, Gus, just on the defensive line. They needed to get bigger up front and more athletic at linebacker and safety. I believe they've done that.
So far, the Oklahoma defense has allowed only 53 yards. First down to the 25 for Cincinnati.
The key is to see and watch how aggressive those linebackers play, Stutzman and Kinnick.
Montgomery in the backfield with Jones. They'll give it to him. He'll get around the right side. Lowers his shoulder, crosses the 30, up to the 33 before being dropped.
Nice run there from Miles Montgomery. This Cincinnati team has to regroup here a little bit. I doubt that they'll snap this one before the end of the first quarter, Gus.
So you're right, Joel. That'll take us to the end of the first quarter. 7-3 OU. Coming up, the second quarter from the Queen City. Back to the Natty after this. Big News Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. Next level moments need the Next Level Network. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, the All-American girl Jenny Taft with you. Start of the second quarter, 7-3. OU on top of UC here in the Queen City. Emory Jones, the Arizona State, Florida transfer, trying to get this Cincinnati offense in gear. Motion out of the backfield. Jones to throw it. Slings it near side. Ball caught. D. Wiggins. Not a lot. Nice open field tackling by this Oklahoma team. Only a gain of 1 on the play. McCullough with the stop.
And there's that guy, Dasan McCullough. I think that he makes this defense much better. When you think about that cheetah position, that hybrid linebacker safety position, for Brent Venables. I think of guys like, Isaiah Simmons, what he was able to do at Clemson. That's the type of player McCullough could potentially be. They need those hybrid second-level players that can play up near the line of scrimmage and back deep as a safety.
3rd down and 2 at the 33. Can they get it is the question. And it's Montgomery running straight ahead. He gains 1 on 3rd and 2. So now UC has a decision to make.
And look at this. They cover up each guard and the center. That allows the linebacker to play free. And he's just right in that middle, unable to get blocked by the down lineman. That's called bear defense, Gus. This is part of that repertoire of defenses that I was talking about earlier. Brent Venables will use so many different fronts. That one's called bear. Cover up the guards and the center. They can't get up to the linebacker, and it forces that linebacker into a one-on-one situation.
Cincinnati punting it away. Freeman backpedaling, signals for the fair catch, and this one fair caught at the 10. We'll take a break. 7-3. Coach Venables has to be proud of the way his defense is playing. He's got a lead on the road.
Pacific Life Game Summary, sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years. OU up 7-3 on Cincinnati here early in the second quarter. Dylan Gabriel has been outstanding, 10 of 14 for 130 yards. Emory Jones 4 of 8. But it's really Cincinnati's defense that has held them in this game. A big turnover on one of those OU offensive series, Gus, that went into the red zone.
So 1st down and 10 at the 12-yard line for Oklahoma. And they'll hand it off as Marcus Major looking for some running room, and no gain on the play. Dorian Jones.
We'll see the adjustment that Cincinnati has to make here defensively, because they were giving up far too many easy completions out on the outside because of soft coverage.
2nd and 10. Gabriel will throw it this time. The lefty is sacked at the 5. Dorian Jones getting home, and that's a loss of 6.
Boy, a great job here coming from the inside with that loop, as well as the outside linebacker. He appears in the blitz as well, and now it's a long yardage situation, backed up, shadow of their own goal line. If I'm Cincinnati, I want to make this as uncomfortable as possible on Dylan Gabriel. And Gus, look what's right behind him. One of the best student sections in all of college football.
3rd down and 16 at the 6. Some movement by OU. They'll back this one up a little further.
False start. Number 60.
The way this stadium is built down into the ground, this crowd and this side of the end is right on top of the offense, and they are loud.
3rd down and 19 at the 3. Dylan Gabriel in the shotgun in his own end zone. Let's see if the Bearcats pin their ears back and put pressure on it. Gabriel hands it off. Major still on the move, cuts it back. Wow, how about this? Gets up to the 21, maybe the 22-yard line. Ken Willis with the tackle. Is that a 1st down?
That is unbelievable. That is a huge mistake by the Cincinnati defense. It's a nondescript handoff. They're just going to punt the ball away, and they find a seam. Beautiful run by Major and a physical finish to get the line to gain.
On 3rd and 19, Sooners get 19. 1st down at the 22. Gabriel swings it out into the flats, and it's Tawee Walker. And he'll pick up a 1st down.
And another physical finish from the Oklahoma running backs. I tell you what, now you're starting to see a little rhythm. How about this? Bam! Tawee Walker, 5'9", but 215, runs over Jordan Young.
Gains 11 yards. Dylan Gabriel being chased on the move. Gabriel trying to get out of bounds, and he gets to the sideline, picks up a couple yards on the play. Ken Willis defensively.
I know it's a bad feeling as a quarterback when you don't feel like you can outrun the guy who's 320. That was big Dante Corleone chasing him out of the pocket, almost ran him down, number 2.
Second down and 9 at the 34. Delayed handoff, and it's Walker. Not a lot of room. Another well-defended play. 1-yard gain for Oklahoma on the play. It's Woodley. Third down, 8 at the 35. Gabriel with time, guns it, and a reception at midfield. Andrell Anthony.
That's an easy little hook route. But I tell you, even more important, he had time to throw, and Gabriel finds the completion.
Gains 15 on the play. Play fake. Gabriel over the middle, and it's caught. Drake Stoops, and Stoops down inside the 15. Flag on the play. Tyler Gillison with the tackle.
Cincinnati was trying to run that 12th guy off the field, so this is going to be 12 men. It was a free play for OU. Gabriel threw an absolute dime to
Illegal
Stoops.
substitution. Defense. 12 players on the field. That penalty's declined. First down.
I tell you what, these two have a great chemistry. Here's Stoops up at the top of your screen in the slot. He's running just kind of an inside little post route, and this is a beautiful ball in anticipation from Gabriel, and Stoops shows a little wiggle after the run. Good spin and finishing down near the 15.
Drake Stoops, 8 catches, 53 yards, 2 touchdowns. Last week against Tulsa. And here's the handoff. Major. Upended by Willis. A gain, actually a loss of 1 yard on the play.
You know, the weakness for Cincinnati is in their secondary. They've got 2 starters out. Sammy Anderson, he's had concussion issues. He's been out for a few weeks. Deshaun Pace not starting today at safety, violation of team rules. So this is why they've been so, I would say, soft in coverage on the outside, and there are so many completions for Gabriel out there.
Second down and 11 at the 16. They fake the reverse over the middle and incomplete. They were going for tight end. That time, Blake Smith, the target. And that brings up third down and 11 at the Cincinnati 16.
Well, now it's about tackling in space.
This drive started for OU at their own 12. 11th play of the drive. Gabriel pumps. The corner of the end zone. Incomplete. Had his man, Jaden Gibson. And that ball a little long.
Boy, he had him. You called it, Gus. This is a little slant and go. Call it a sluggo. The route is going to be you're faking to the inside here and then trying to get to the fade. So Gabriel pumps in right there. He's got him. If that ball hits him in the face mask, it's going to be a touchdown for the Sooners. But he airmails it over his head, and they've got to settle for a field goal.
Brings on Zach Schmidt into attempt a 34-yarder. Got it up. And good. Oklahoma taking a 10-3 lead. Under 9 minutes to play in the day. All right, welcome back. Last 2 drives for OU, 138 yards and 10 points. Cincinnati ready to get the football back once again. Braden Smith, the deep man. That ball takes a bounce and trickles into the end zone for a touchdown. Let's go downstairs and check in with Jenny.
Well, Gus, I had a great conversation with defensive leader Danny Stutzman this week. And as you guys have pointed out already, everyone knew that Oklahoma's D had to be better. But the fan base and all these players didn't want deja vu from last season. Remember, they were 3-0 in this season until they faced K-State, and then they lost. And we know what happened with that 6-7 season. Stutzman told me they were highly motivated by the disappointment. It was all those older players who made sure the younger guys got to work in the weight room, because at Oklahoma, winning championships is the only expectation.
All right, Stutzman had that pick six last week, 17 tackles against SMU the week before. Jones throwing across his body and incomplete. But back to Stutzman, here's something interesting. So he had a pick six last week, 17 tackles against SMU the week before. He also had his car impounded during SMU week. He forgot his parking pass.
Hey, man, let me just give a word of advice. You know who else I saw got a ticket yesterday?
Who's that?
Dion did, on the campus of Colorado.
Wow.
Campus parking doesn't mess around. Anywhere in the country, they're undefeated. You can't get around them. Campus parking, they get the job done.
Second down and 10. Here's the run. And it's Kiner.
There he is. There's Stutzman, Gus. Man. He's faster this year. You know, we covered them last year. He's faster. This team has more depth on defense, Gus. They would call it more competitive depth. They feel like they can rotate players more, keep them more fresh. They felt like last year, part of the reason they lost so many games, in particular in close games, 5 of them in one score, is because they had too many guys play too many snaps in the fourth quarter.
Third down and 11 at the 24. Jones looking over the middle. Nice throw and a first down. Evan Prater goes up high to get it, and he'll gain 14.
Love the story of Evan Prater. He came here as a highly recruited quarterback, and this spring he decided to move full-time to wide receiver. And how about the athleticism? Not often you see a guy make a position change and have that fluidity on the outside when making a catch. Prater, highly athletic, 6'4", 208, team first style, and a good catch there.
First down at the 38-yard line. Jones with the handoff. And it's Kiner, cuts it back. Kiner, a great runner between the tackles, gains 3. And McCullough with the stop.
I think this is an important series for this offense here now. We're inside of 7.5 minutes of this first half. And Gus, they've had some success. They stalled out and had to kick a field goal. But more so, their defense has been on the field for too many snaps and too much time. They need to allow that defense to get a bit of a rest, stay on the field here, and try to go get a touchdown and tie this thing up.
2nd and 7 at the 41. Jones delivers, sideline, caught, down the sideline. This time, it's his tight end, Shaman Mateer, and he'll gain big yardage for UC.
Here's the motion, and then he's just going to swing out into a wheel, and you get cross action from those outside wide receivers, and the Oklahoma defense just loses them. That was McCullough in coverage, and he was way behind Mateer, and that's a big completion for Emory Jones.
That's a 40-yard gain. First down and 10 at the Oklahoma 19.
Nice job with the formation there from Scott Satterfield, who has had great offenses everywhere he's been, whether he was at App State as a head coach or Louisville, and certainly looking to build that here at Cincinnati.
He was 25 and 24 at Louisville over 4 seasons, and 51 and 24 at App State over 6 campaigns.
After further review, the ball will be placed on the 24-yard line. 24-yard line. First down.
Just a quick video review there where they just come down over the headset and say, hey, the ball was misplaced there, put it back at the 24, and then you've got first down. But Satterfield feels like he's got some weapons. And Gus, they rebuilt this wide receiver room really after spring practice, bringing in a lot of these guys from the transfer portal. I think that's where their advantage is here today. I think that they need to throw the ball a little bit more.
First down and 10 to the 24. And it's Jones who'll just dump it. under pressure. Rick Jones, first year as a starting quarterback at Cincinnati.
And they talked about wanting to try to use some different formations to try to confuse Oklahoma. One thing that you've got to be aware of is that they've got a couple of guys that have a quarterback past. Braden Smith is one of them, number 0. Evan Prater, number 3. Whenever I see that in a bio, I immediately think of like double passes, reverse passes, and those trick plays.
1st and 10. Make it 2nd and 10 at the 24. And Cincinnati may have lost some yardage on that play. Isaiah Coe, number 94, first man to him.
I tell you, those linebackers are so fast to flow on those nondescript inside run plays. Cincinnati has not been able to get much push, and a lot of that is the fact that Stutzman and Kanik, they are getting to the point of attack so fast.
Makes it 3rd down and 12 at the 26. Jones looking, throws sideline into double coverage. Oh, and it is intercepted. Key Lawrence tracks it down.
This is a great job by the defense of disguising their coverage. They moved back into this cover 2 look, which means the safety has half the field. He's got the deep coverage, and he can just read the eyes of the quarterback, and it's an easy interception for Key Lawrence. OU's defense, they came to play here in Cincinnati.
Welcome back to Cincinnati. Sooners up 7, and they've got the ball after that interception. Rob, so with you coming up on the State Farm at halftime. Jim Harbaugh returns to the sidelines, but he saw his Wolverines go down early to Rutgers. Massive ACC showdown, guys. Clemson unranked, hosting number 4 FSU, and SEC play fired up for Auburn and Texas A&M. We'll see you at the break, guys.
All right, Rob, Oklahoma with their 7th interception of the season. They had 5 last week against Tulsa. On offense now, and a 1st down for Anthony. Back to the line of scrimmage after the 12-yard gain. Gabriel sets up the screen and incomplete.
Good pressure there by the defensive line. But I tell you, their ability to win on the outside today is so apparent. You know, these wide receivers, that's the strength of this offense. And they've got size, and I love the variety as well, Gus. They've got slot guys that can move like Drake Stoops. They've got size on the outside that can operate and win one-on-ones.
2nd and 10 at the 32. And here's the handoff to Walker. Walker will gain a yard.
Got to defend the outside here. They have just been wearing them out with these big wide receivers on 3rd down. Cincinnati, because OU substituted, now they're going to try to match up here and run some guys on late.
3rd down and 9 at the 33. Gabriel guns it, and that ball is incomplete on the sideline. Intended for Stogner. Nice defense by Threats.
They're trying to switch the release, bring Stogner out here on the outside. Threats does a beautiful job reacting, breaking on that ball. Probably gets away with a little contact before it arrives, but it's a punt nonetheless for Oklahoma.
Braden Smith standing inside his own 20 as Josh Plaster sends it away. Takes a bounce and caught on the move by Smith. He crossed the 25 up to the 27. 10-3. OU leading on the road here in Cincinnati. And by Liberty Mutual Insurance, only paid for what you need. Welcome back to the great city of Cincinnati. Joel, been coming here a long, long time, dating back to Well, Bob Huggins was the head coach of the basketball team. I remember calling games back then. Kenyon Martin was a freshman. A lot of Bengals games, but I had to make my pilgrimage. Me and my buddy Scott, we walked from Covington to downtown, and we had to do some knock-back Nats. Best smoked chicken wings on planet Earth, folks. You ever come to Cincy, forget the three-way chili. You got to go to knock-back Nats. So UC, 1st and 10 at the 28. Jones in trouble, decides to run it, crosses the 30 and gets up to the 35, tracked down by Kanek.
Boy, this looked like, from our vantage point, that this was going to be a sack and maybe a sack fumble. But watch Jones right here. He takes the ball away and protects it down low. That's beautiful awareness from the quarterback to move that ball closer to his body as he moves up in the pocket, and then he's able to gain some yards on first down.
Gain 6, 2nd and 4. And this time, ball thrown underneath. Nice throw. D. Wiggins ran a great route. He's at the 45. Gain of 10.
And Wiggins, another one of these transfers, Gus. He came with Satterfield from Louisville. And this is a guy that they think highly of and need to get him the ball more. Again, their advantage is on the outside right now. Those linebackers have made life very difficult in the interior on the run game.
First down at the 44-yard line. And Jones lobs it up. Sideline throw and incomplete. Ball intended for Henderson. Great coverage on the play by Woody Washington.
And Washington has given up some serious height here. Woody Washington's only 5'11". Henderson is 6'3". So it's a good matchup for Cincinnati, but Washington did a great job of forcing him over to the sideline and then making a play on the ball.
2nd and 10 at the 44. Jones, empty backfield, in trouble, dumps it down. And he's got his running back, Montgomery, out of the backfield, but a nice open field tackle by Kanek.
Beautiful job there on the outside. Gentry Williams, the corner, the good open field tackle. And this is one of the areas that Oklahoma really struggled in recent years, is tackling in space. And today it's been very good in that one. He saved a lot of yardage because behind Gentry Williams, there was some serious space.
3rd down and 13 at the 41. Here's Jones. Guns it. Caught at midfield. And this time it's D. Wiggins.
They're bringing the pressure on this side. You get a corner blitz. It means the safety's going to come right over the top. So there's some room, but another good open field tackle. There's Key Lawrence. Makes the hit, then wraps up and gets him out of bounds.
D. Lawrence with an interception in this first half. Oklahoma calls a timeout. Now tomorrow it's a huge doubleheader on Fox, starting with Derek Carr and the Saints taking on Jordan Love and the Packers, or other regional action. Then in America's Game of the Week, Justin Fields and the Bears battle Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, or the Cowboys Cardinals. All on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Justin Fields, former Ohio State quarterback, have some troubles there in Chicago, starting to criticize his coaches for his robotic play.
I tell you, in this ball game, that was a big stop for OU. Because Gus, they can call that timeout. Now a minute 48. They get the ball to start the second half. So a big turn of events here where OU can try to open up a big lead. They have 2 timeouts left. Plenty of time. Try to go down and get some points before getting that second half kickoff.
Gavin Freeman ready to return it at his own 9-yard line. And it's fair caught at the 6. 43-yard punt. So Oklahoma will have to play with a long field and those 2 timeouts with 1:41 remaining in the first half.
You know, I have a sense here that this drive is going to be one of Oklahoma's best. Here's the reason, because now they're going to go into 2-minute tempo and mode, which means that you're going to try to take free throws on the outside, get into that fast tempo, and get the ball out of your hand as quickly as possible. That's where their advantage is those quick throws on the outside and their big receivers running after the catch. It would shock me if they weren't able to move the ball really well in this situation.
Trips at the top of your screen. First down at the 8. And they'll hand it off. Major. Ken Willis with the tackle.
There's a Bearcat shaken up after the play. That's Dingle, who's down for the second time. He was down earlier in this half.
Dingle, redshirt sophomore from Louisville, Kentucky.
Here's the end of that play. He's being blocked and bears the brunt of Walter Rouse, the transfer from Stanford. He's the left tackle who fell onto Dingle. Rouse, just to give you a sense of context, is 6'6", 325 pounds.
And Dingle, 6'4", 238. 2nd and 6 at the 12. And this one deflected. Loose ball goes out of bounds at around the 8.
Boy, they got so lucky. It'll go to the out-of-bounds spot because that was a lateral. It was not an incompletion. Gabriel threw that one backwards, trying to get it to his back. That was a live ball. Sooners are very fortunate Cincinnati wasn't able to dive on it, and so that'll back them up, Gus, for a longer third down.
3rd down and 10 at the 8. Gabriel with time over the middle. He's got his man. It's Major out of the backfield, but not enough for first down, so Oklahoma will have to punt it away. Jonathan Thompson, the redshirt freshman from Columbus, Ohio, with the stop as Cincinnati calls a timeout.
Yep, they'll save the time now with 1:07 left. A nice timeout and a nice defensive stop. I thought that was a major mistake for OU. Cincinnati still has 2 timeouts now. OU never attacked on the outside there, Gus. Those easy, soft throws, they were there to be had, like they had moved the ball earlier in the half. And they tried to do some other things, and it didn't work. You know, Cincinnati is pretty stout on defense, in particular in the interior.
I think both of these defenses have played pretty well in this first half.
Well, they've certainly gotten the stops when necessary. You know, while OU has moved the ball at times, it's been Cincinnati's ability to get a turnover, OU's ability to also get a turnover here and there. And these defenses have made the plays necessary to keep points off the board.
OU, a team designed to score a lot of points. As Plaster will punt it inside the 5. Braden Smith stands at his own 34. This one toward the far side, bounces backwards and dies at the 46-yard line. A 30-yard punt, so Cincinnati, with under a minute to go and 2 timeouts left, will start with great field position inside OU territory.
And got to take advantage, because now your defense just sets you up. Obviously a poor punt, there's no question about it, but the defense's ability to get off the field has now set up their offense. And now Emory Jones and this offense, who haven't really been able to run the ball much, at least they don't have to worry about that, because now with 2 timeouts and 58 seconds, this is going to be a passing situation, trying to get those big receivers open in space.
First down and 10 for UC at the Oklahoma 46-yard line. Here's Jones off his back foot to the sideline. Great throw And the catch is made by Mateer again. And this time, he'll gain 7.
And an excellent job diving out of bounds in order to stop the clock and save the timeouts. Still have 2.
51 seconds to go, 2nd and 3. Jones steps into his throw, caught on the sideline, no! Drop, Mateer had it, he took his eyes off the ball. That would have been a big gain.
And it was a play that was so similar to the big gain earlier in the half to Mateer. They sent him on that wheel route, and again, Oklahoma unable to defend it, but he just dropped it. Ball was well thrown. Mateer unable to hold on.
3rd and 3. Cincinnati 1 for 7 on 3rd downs. Jones, short drop, caught. 1st down, Bearcats and more. Braden Smith gains 14.
And now they're well within field goal range for Carter Brown. So Emory Jones has got to think to himself that he cannot take a sack, knock himself back out of yardage, but he's doing a great job on this series, just taking what the defense gives and allowing his wide receivers to work after the catch.
1st down and 10 to the 25. Play fake. Jones lost it. End zone and thrown high, incomplete. Xavier Henderson may have had a step.
Some extra shoving in the backfield between Gavin Gerhardt, the center, and Rondell Bothroyd, number 80. That's why you heard the crowd react. They thought that there should have been a flag. No flag thrown here. Still 2 timeouts left in 35 seconds.
2nd down and 10.
With 2 timeouts, you can still check the ball down to a back over the middle of the field and get the clock stopped.
Jones. Sideline throw. Caught at the 15 and out of bounds. Stops the clock. Evan Prater. Nice footwork.
Check out the block by Kiner. This is what allows Emory Jones the time to throw. Beautiful job on the blitz. The other blitzer, the safety, Key Lawrence, was coming from way deep. So Emory Jones had time to get the ball out on the outside.
1st down at the OU 15. 31 seconds remaining in the 1st half. Jones wants to run it. Bottled up. Jones trying to make something happen. And he'll stumble forward and go down around the 12-13. Cincinnati calls a timeout. They now have 1 remaining.
And with the timeout, they tried to surprise them with a quarterback draw, but OU was ready. You know, Cincinnati under Scott Satterfield last week really struggled. 8 trips inside the 25-yard line, Gus. Only 2 touchdowns in those scenarios. This is already the 3rd time that they've reached that point inside the OU 25. They've had 1 field goal, 1 interception. They've got to execute here inside the red zone. If they were asking me, I would say utilize the size on the outside and try to get one-on-ones with Xavier Henderson, number 8, and Evan Prater, number 3, in those matchups with the corners who are undersized for Oklahoma.
Second down and 8. 24 seconds remaining in the 1st half. Cincinnati with the timeout left. Down 10-3. Trips at the top. Remember, Emory Jones is an elusive runner.
And it looks like you're going to get a little pressure here from number 12, Key Lawrence, and now he's going to back out of it. Now Lawrence backs out of it.
False start. Offense number 56. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
DeAndre Buford, the right tackle, number 56, and this is what plagued them last week. In overtime, they had 1st and goal from the 2. In the overtime period, they had some penalties, some self-inflicted wounds, wound up throwing an interception on 4th down, and now here a penalty in a critical time when they've reached the scoring area.
2nd and 13. Here's Jones dancing in the pocket. Underneath, ball caught at the 10-yard line by Wiggins.
They're going to have to call their last timeout because that one was short of the sticks.
So that brings up 3rd down and 5. Cincinnati out of timeouts now at the 10. What do you do here, Joel?
Well, this is already the 11th play inside the 25. They settled for that field goal. They threw the interception. You know, on 3rd down, yeah, you can think about trying to get the first. So I think that you can run a hitch. You can certainly run a little bit of a hook route over the middle of the field and feel like you can move the chains, but you've got to be ready to come up and stop the clock immediately. If not, this ball got to go into the end zone. I think you can do a lot of things here. The only thing that you cannot do is complete the ball short of the sticks. If that happens, or there's a sack with no timeouts, half is going to be over.
So let's see. Cincinnati back at the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 5. 18 seconds left at the Oklahoma 9. Jones guns it. Incomplete. That ball intended for Smith, thrown high. Peyton Bowen defensively for the Sooners.
Yeah, and just not on the same page. You know, Emory Jones, I feel like he thinks that the wide receiver is running almost a different route there because Braden Smith not really even ready to go up and make a play on that ball. And for a 3rd down in a critical situation, certainly not what you want to see if you're a Cincinnati fan.
So they'll go for the field goal. Carter Brown, good from 40 yards. This one from 26 yards. And it's no good. Wow, Cincinnati coming up empty.
Lack of execution in the scoring area. They had a field goal blocked last week from 35 yards that would have won the game inside of a minute. The end of regulation. This one just flat hooked left. And you have to wonder, remember, there's only one starter back from a year ago on offense. You've got a new coaching staff and largely a new offense built through the transfer portal. And you're really lacking execution in the scoring area so far this season. And in some respect, Gus, you would expect that because of all the new people trying to get onto the same page here early in the season.
10-3, the score at halftime. Oklahoma leading Cincinnati on the road. Don't forget, after the break, join Rob Stone and the guys with the State Farm halftime show right here at Nippert Stadium to start the second half. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, Jenny Taft with you. This is the first game for Cincinnati in the Big 12. And this is the last season for Oklahoma in the Big 12. They will move over to the SEC next year. So what do you expect, Joel, to see from OU to start this second half?
You know, if I'm their offense, I want to try to get out and take those easy throws in the underneath areas. They had a lot of success doing that, allowing their wide receivers, in particular on 1st down, to run after the catch.
All right, let's go downstairs and check in with Jen.
Well, you got to ask Coach Venables first about his defense. And in so many ways, he said, I've been pleased with their response. Now, holding them to field goals, all of those moments add up for us. And overall, very happy with what he's seeing. But on offense, you know, they were off at times a bit, and they need to do a better job finding their open guys. Coach Satterfield, well, he told me defensively we're doing a good job keeping them in front of us. We can still tackle better. And in terms of their offense, he said we did get a bit rattled. Emory Jones needs to do a better job spreading it out a bit, using those perimeters to get things going offensively.
All right, Jen, first down and 10 of the 25. Empty backfield for Dylan Gabriel. Here's the motion. Gabriel. That ball deflected at the line of scrimmage and incomplete.
Well, that play seemed to be all sorts of screwed up because it looked like Gabriel was looking for some sort of fake from Gavin Freeman, who was in motion, number 82. Do you see Freeman just stop? Then Gabriel turns and tries to throw the ball across the middle, and it was batted away. So a little confusion there from OU.
Dorian Jones getting a hand on it, 2nd and 10. Here's Gabriel to throw it again. Gabriel winds up underneath, caught. Nice strike at the 45-yard line. Jaden Gibson, the sophomore, with the reception.
Great job by that offensive line, providing a lot of time. Gabriel went to his second man in the progression, had time to do it.
Gain 21 on the play. Gabriel again. Oklahoma continuing to go warp speed over the middle to the tight end, Stogner.
Boy, I thought he had a chance to get down the seam. Watch Gavin Freeman right here, and he's kind of open right as he breaks over the second level. If that ball is thrown right away, you've got a big completion down the numbers. Gabriel decides to check it down instead.
5-yard gain, 2nd and 5 at the 49. And the reverse. Gavin Freeman, that play strung out nicely. What a job on defense by Taj Ward.
I'll tell you, Taj Ward, good reaction. Got away with a little graze of the face mask. I think that was a good no call by the officials. He didn't grab or turn the head. So even though the hand hit the face mask, it's now 3rd down, Gus, and an opportunity for this Bearcats defense.
From the 49. Opening series for Oklahoma here in the second half. Gabriel. Flag on the play, over the middle. Caught at the 44, and that's Drake Stoops, but there is a flag. Looks like it's enough for 1st down if it stands.
Illegal shift. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
Boy, out of sorts here early. We'll see. I think what ends up happening is that motion right there, he started his motion before everyone else was set. And Gus, that means that then he has to set a beat at least before the snap of the ball.
So 3rd and 12 of the 44. Tawee Walker in the game at running back. Cincinnati showing blitz. Let's see if they bring it. Dylan Gabriel steps up over the middle, incomplete. That one in and out of the hands of Stoops. You don't see that happen too often. And that will force Oklahoma to punt the ball.
Boy, a great rush here from Deion Hunter. Watch Deion Hunter, who's going to be right here as the linebacker, and he's going to beat Tawee Walker and get to the quarterback. That little turn as he grabbed Gabriel's hip is why Gabriel was unable to get that ball down on the frame of Drake Stoops. It's a little high and a little behind. Stoops can't bring it down, and they'll have to punt it away.
Josh Plaster punting from the 30. Braden Smith standing at his own 10. Smith with the fair catch at the 14. A 43-yard punt. Emory Jones and the Cincinnati offense back on the field when we return. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by Allstate. You're in good hands. Welcome back. Electric atmosphere, a lot of fun. A lot of defense being played as well.
Yeah, and I love watching OU's defense because they're creative. You know, first of all, they're going to try to disguise, line up, and what is a vanilla look, and then watch the reaction of the linebackers. Quick downhill, downward flow, make a tackle. Then they give you the same look, but then they're dropping out. This is Key Lawrence's interception. He goes back and plays a half. He's in cover 2. That means he's got deep responsibility. Now they go 3 down and overload that short side of the offensive line. You cover up the guard, the center, and the tackle, and bring in extra pressure. That's some of the high volume, high energy play that we're getting from the OUD.
First down and 10 to the 14 as Jones throws it on first down, and he's got his man. Looks like a first down. Braden Smith, nice running after the catch, and he'll gain 12.
For the most part, this Cincinnati team, they want to be a running team, but they're not able. They can't get these linebackers blocked. So what they're going to have to do on first down is what you just saw. Take an easy completion or what the defense is giving. You can do that in those slot spots and get the ball out quickly, and then using tempo, Gus, get up to the line of scrimmage quickly and try to hit the OU defense with the run at that point.
First down to the 26. Emory Jones with time delivers first down, Cincinnati, and they get to the 40-yard line as Xavier Henderson turns it up and gains 14.
What I would do is have the play called, that run play called. It can be a one-word signal, because the last thing you want to do is start signaling in plays. That's giving Oklahoma the advantage. They do as good a job as anybody of waiting until you signal in, and then they call their defense.
First down to the 41, Kiner between the tackles, and wow, what a powerful run, and he'll push forward and get to midfield.
See if they try to go fast. Looks like they're going to try. Look at this formation. 2 tackles split all the way out.
Second and 2 at the 49. And a first down for UC as they get to the Oklahoma 45. McCullough with the stop.
So we got a tackle way out wide, and then that inside you just got guard, center, and guard with a tight end. So a very creative formation here for Cincinnati.
First and 10 at the 45. And another run. That looked like 6-man football for a second.
I was going to say, that's right, taking us back to the small-town high school days. You know, but this has got to be a read, and so what you're doing on offense is you're trying to see how the defense reacts. He could stand up off of this snap and throw it out to the outside, but here they'll bring the tackles back in and line them up in a traditional set here.
Second down and 9 at the 44. Miles Montgomery checks in the backfield. Jones looking, and incomplete.
Boy, that one was miles off. McCullough had a chance for the interception. Gus, he threw this to no man's land. He's getting a curl from his outside receiver, Donovan Ollie. That was thrown 8 yards outside, so not on the same page at all. And now you've got a longer yardage situation, and I tell you, they have not been good in these third downs here so far today.
Third down and 9 at the Oklahoma 44. Jones steps up in the pocket, trying to make people miss, and does. Jones dives forward and gets close to the 35. He needed to get to around the 34.5 for first down. 8-yard run on 3rd and 9.
Go quick, quarterback sneak. This is a perfect time.
And Jones taking his time at the line of scrimmage. Gives it up, and it's Montgomery. And a first down, UC.
They got big in there. There's Mateer, the tight end. He comes back to line up as a fullback. And they get a little movement up front, and a nice job by Montgomery to get low behind his pads and get the line to gain on 4th down.
So a first down at the 35.
Previous further review. Ruling on the field was for.
That's a bit surprising. I didn't think it was even close, to be honest with you, Gus, but maybe there was a shin or a knee, forearm that was close to being down, needed to get all the way to the 35. Now maybe that was closer than I anticipated. Certainly was. There's Montgomery. There's the contact. You know, from that angle on the top, sure looks like with the ball in the left arm that he falls across the 35. There's the contact. Boy, awfully tough to overturn this.
Dean Blandino, our rules analyst, joins us. Dean, your thoughts?
These are so tough when you have all of these bodies. He needed the big line. It looked like Montgomery, certainly his body made the 35. You're just looking for a shot. Where is the ball when a body part like a knee or a shin hits? Really tough. I thought we had some good looks. I just don't see enough to change this.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dean. And listen, if I were to just say, like, do I think he got it? I'm not sure. But based on that look, that's the only one that we're seeing on your screen at home where we can see a knee down and the ball, but unfortunately you can't see the 35-yard line. This is probably the best look in terms of his body.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Cincinnati.
So a first down for the Bearcats. Thank you very much, Dean. We'll check in with you later. 9:29 to go, third quarter, opening series of the second half for Cincinnati.
I just wonder, with their struggles in the last two games inside the 25, will we see a trick play, you know, on this series as we get down here? Maybe a double pass, something creative to spark this offense inside of the scoring area.
First down at the 35. Empty backfield. Jones, here's your trick play. Joel Klatt lets it go. Wide open. And it is incomplete. You called it, partner. How'd you know?
They've done it before this year with Braden Smith, number 0. And when he's in the slot out there to the field, you just get a sense that, like, boy, are they trying to do something? And they need a spark. It's not like they've just been rolling inside the scoring area. And when you need a spark, you're trying to get something going. And that one just out of the reach. Emory Jones reacts there after the incompletion.
Chris Scott was the intended receiver, 2nd and 10. And here's Jones. That one thrown high for Xavier Henderson. And out of bounds. Brings up third down and long.
Now you got to think about those matchups on the outside. And I think that the route that has been best to Cincinnati is the simple route, the curl route. I know he missed that throw to the right side earlier on this series, but you got to think to yourself, you might go for it on fourth down if you get close to the line to gain. So why not run a little simple curl flat here and try to find an opening in the defense?
Third down and 10 at the 35 for the Bearcats. Jones steps up, in trouble, and sack. Great pressure by Oklahoma as Jones goes down.
Well, look at the creativity. You got all this movement going this way, and then you're going to bring a looping defensive end back right into the face of Emory Jones, and then that's where the pressure finally gets home. Great job by this OU defense. Again, high variety, lots of different looks, and high energy from this Sooners defense, and another tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
So they'll bring on the field goal unit. This one from 54 yards out. Carter Brown got it away. And it's good. Carter Brown with a 54-yard field goal, and with 8:22 to go in the third, we've got a 10-6 game here in Cincy. Bearcats continuing to fight on this historic day in the Queen City. Super Bowl champion brothers both attended Cincinnati 15 years ago. Jason Kelsey played for the Bearcats from 2006 to 2010. And Taylor Swift's boyfriend also played for the Bearcats from 2008 to 2012. What's that guy's name? He's pretty good, right? Travis Swift, right?
Is he dating her?
I don't know.
Is he not?
That's what they say.
What's going on?
Who knows? Let's check in with Jen.
Well, I am going to give you an injury update, but nothing has been confirmed if the two are dating or not, Gus Joel, just so you know. In terms of Cincinnati running back, Ryan Montgomery is questionable. Good news, linebacker Jack Dingle is back on the field. They had been working on so much shoulder mobility. It's that right side. Now, he is in pain, right? He wants to give it a go. The medical staff gave the thumbs up that he is available, but guys, he's fighting through it.
All right, thank you very much, Jen. Oklahoma with the football first and 10 at the 25, 10-6 our score. And they will get positive yardage on first down, crossing the 40 up to close to the 45. Major with a major run, stopped by Ward.
Without a doubt, their best run of the day.
Gain of 18. And this time, it's Gabriel. And Gabriel gets to the Bearcat 45. I tell you what, this Oklahoma offense can change things up in a hurry.
Yeah, they really can. I tell you, this is a late hit, though. Watch as he's down, and then you're going to get, is that Threats? And that's Brian Threats, who comes in and goes to the head. I would assume that they're going to go with a targeting here, and that's something that Brian Threats has had a hard time
After
with.
the play was over, personal foul, late hit, defense number 10, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Okay, so they don't call targeting, Gus. Just go with the late hit. Now, replay can get involved here. Here it is in real speed as Gabriel gives himself up by going with the slide right there, and then there's the hit. Threats immediately puts his hands up, knows that he gets away with one.
And they'll run it. Major. Right now, Oklahoma doing a nice job running the football.
And you know what they've gone to is their old bread and butter. This is the tackle pulling, guard pulling, gap scheme run downhill.
Looks like these offensive linemen like run blocking as they throw it out wide to Drake Stoops.
In the first half, they were trying to run more zone blocking where the offensive line was not pulling around. Here on this series, they got back to this, what I would call a gap scheme. I know that's hard to understand, but basically you're blocking down with one side of the line and pulling around the lineman to the other side.
First down and 10 at the 18, and another run. Major is stopped by Ward. 4-yard gain.
And also what's happened is that because Cincinnati has been hurt with the pass, they're trying to play two safeties back. When you've got two safeties back, the offense can block everybody up front, so the run ratios lie within the offense's hands, and Oklahoma has taken advantage of that, but they'll get low safeties here now inside the 15.
Tawee Walker in the game at running back. Gabriel sprints out of the pocket, delivers underneath to Stoops, and Stoops is gobbled up immediately. Great open field tackle by Taj Ward. A loss of one.
Boy, beautiful catch. Probably a better tackle. And now another one of these plays. My goodness, how often are we going to be in the scoring territory with each offense and the defense having a great chance to try to get themselves off the field?
Third down and 7 at the 15 for OU. Tawee Walker remains in the game at running back. Gabriel to the sideline, caught, and a first down. Andrell Anthony.
Boy, he has been quiet since the opening couple of series, and that is a huge catch on third.
First down and goal. At the 7, here's the run with Walker, and Walker will go all the way down to, it looks like, the 1-yard line. Oklahoma quickly up and back to the line of scrimmage. Second and goal at the 1. They run it again, and it's Gabriel. A push at the end. Looks like a touchdown. And it is. Dylan Gabriel.
So you got to give a huge assist to Walter Rouse. Watch the left tackle. As this play develops, it looks like Gabriel is going to be stopped short of the goal line. And watch 75. Here he comes. The assist. Bam! And he knocks him over the goal line for a touchdown for the Sooners. Boy, credit Gabriel for the fight, and then Walter Rouse at the end with the assist.
Zach Schmidt in to attempt the extra point. 17-6 our score. Oklahoma goes on a 9-play, 75-yard drive. 6 runs on the drive for 48 yards, ground and pound. 17-6 our score. 5:23 to go, third quarter. Oklahoma just pounding the football on that last drive. Largest lead of the game now for the Sooners. How do the Bearcats respond? This ball fair caught inside the 5. And we'll step away.
Danny Stutzman is our Good Hands playmaker, sponsored by Allstate. You're in good hands, and Danny Stutzman has been tremendous today on defense for OU, and this is a guy that is a tackle machine. He came into today's ball game already with 30 tackles over the first 3 games. Today, 6 tackles, 2.5 of them are tackles for loss, and he's been tremendous.
First down and 10 of the 25 for Cincinnati. Here's the run with Montgomery. Lot of room. Spins. Beautiful job as he's thrown out of bounds by McCullough, but a big gain of 9.
Well, this is the most important drive of the game for Cincinnati. They have got to answer that drive for OU and stay within striking distance. And we've seen them move the ball between the 20s, between the 25s, but the execution inside the scoring area, that has not been there today.
Second down and 1 at the 34. Jones drops it off near side. This time it's Aaron Turner, and Turner will pick up the first down. Great read by Emory Jones.
Yeah, beautiful job. And that was kind of like a third man in the progression, Gus, a check down, and he got it to his outside receiver, Turner, with room to run, an accurate throw. And now Cincinnati will huddle up and try to change their tempo a little bit.
A huddle.
Yeah.
Often do you see that?
Very rarely.
In the Big 12. 11-yard gain, first and 10 at the 45. Jones, quick fire, high, oh, and caught. Did he get a foot in bounds? Yes, Braden Smith. Great concentration for the 4-yard gain.
Yeah, that was tremendous right there. Ball thrown a little high for him. Watch him tip it back to himself so he gets control right there, and then there's the right knee down before he lands out of bounds. Beautiful job and concentration. I know, make a catch like that, you feel like you should get more than 4 yards.
That's right. Second and 6 at the 49 for Cincinnati. Kiner, the pistol back. They give it to him. Kiner, nice piece of running. Stutzman cuts him down.
I just really love the run game from this traditional tailback set. Now this is the pistol with the shotgun, but when you can go that heavy downhill, you get reaction from the defense, and then the cutback lane becomes more obvious.
He picked up a first down at the 44. Jones hit as he throws, and incomplete. A lot of pressure on Jones, and this time it's Adebawore with the pressure.
And this guy is a really promising young player, just a true freshman. He's 6'4", 240. Look at that move. Did you see his hands? Knocking the hands of the offensive lineman away and getting to the quarterback as he's trying to throw. Adebawore comes from Kansas City, Missouri. He was a 5-star edge rusher coming in, and as a true freshman gets better every game.
Second and 10 at the 44. Jones out wide. And watch out. Kiner all the way down inside the Oklahoma 30. A gain of 16. Bowen with the tackle.
Missed tackles in space. Coming back to Honham, Kanik, and McCullough missed.
Kiner remains in. Jones on the play fake. Steps up. Thinking about running it. And he does. And gets out of bounds at the 20. T. Lawrence knocks him out of play after an 8-yard gain, but can Cincinnati pay it off?
Yep.
They're inside the red zone once again.
Yeah. And you know what we haven't seen them do is we haven't seen them get to the play action. We haven't seen them try to get Emory Jones outside of the pocket, possibly with a tight end or a slot receiver dragging across the field. And you use a huddle here, and now a bit of an overload. You got 2 tight ends left and 2 receivers left.
2nd and 2 at the 20-yard line. Jones decides to run it, and he goes nowhere. No gain on the play. Danny Stutzman right on it. Cincinnati has been inside the 25 4 times today. On their 3 previous trips, 3 total points.
It was the problem a week ago. The reason that they lost, now inside the 25 the last 2 games, 12 possessions, only 2 touchdowns and 4 field goals. That's not going to cut it. Have to execute here.
3rd and 2. They need a first down here.
Where they can block everybody up front if they want to run it here. Only 4 linemen and 1 linebacker, and now Kanik is going to try to sneak into that run box.
Here's the option. Jones keeps it and is stonewalled. Wow. Terrific job by this Oklahoma defense. They just shut it down. Leading the way, Reggie Grimes.
What you're going to see here is that the defensive tackle is going to loop around after the initial contact right there, and then he falls into the lap of the option route. They're trying to run basically speed option right there with the quarterback and the running back. Quarterback makes a poor read, should have pitched the ball out, and there's 2 Sooners there to make the stop.
So Scott Satterfield, the head coach in his first year, knows he needs the points. He's going to go for it on 4th down and 2.
I think he's going to call a timeout. He doesn't like his set.
And he gets the timeout. Little frustration on the Cincinnati sideline right now.
Yep. It's a look of a play caller. It's almost not even frustration, but like he's exasperated. You know, I mean, it's just he doesn't know what to do down here. There's been a lot of things happen. It's really, Gus, a combination of aggressive play from the defense, quality tackling, good job up front, and a lack of execution for Cincinnati. And he feels like, I'm sure, at this point as a play caller, he's got to call the perfect play out of the perfect formation.
Usually in the red zone, from what I've learned over time, the coaches will say the most important thing is for each player to win their battle.
Have to, and because they become more important as the space is limited. The defense just doesn't have to defend as much field as they do from the 50-yard line.
Watch number 88, Peyton Singletary. He's a tight end. He can run and he can catch. Coach talked about him yesterday in our meeting. 4th down and 2 at the 20. Here's Jones looking. Jones incomplete. He went after Singletary, but Oklahoma knew what was coming. And Cincinnati turns it over on downs.
The coverage was good, but the ball actually got to the hands of Singletary. As Jones is going to look over the middle, he's going to try to look all the way to the left to open up space, and then there's Singletary, and it gets kind of through, but there's Danny Stutzman again making a play. That's Walker as well, Kenai Walker, the redshirt sophomore from Georgia, number 26, and Oklahoma again standing tall in the scoring area. It's the story of the day.
Tell you what, I don't know what's going to happen moving forward, but at least on this day, through 3 quarters, the Oklahoma defense is standing out. Gabriel looking, throws the bomb down the sideline. And it's caught at the 30, Andrell Anthony. A gain of 50. Sooners quickly down the field.
I mean, all sorts of contact. Should have had a flag on the play, and Anthony still able to catch the ball. That's incredible concentration from Andrell Anthony, a guy who transferred from Michigan and has found a new home and, more importantly, a new football life at Oklahoma on the outside.
Michigan loved him. He loved Michigan, but he left.
The offense just wasn't what it is here, and now they feature him on the outside. And what do you know, 50 yards later, the Sooners are in business.
Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. Next level moments need the next level Network. And folks, we start the fourth quarter 17-6. We got one of our favorite people in the booth right now.
That's right.
He just came to see us. His name is Big Game Bob.
Big Game Bob.
Bob Stoops coming off an XFL title. We're going to have you stay right here and see what your boy can do. Drake Stoops. First down and 10 at the 31 for Oklahoma. They swing it out wide, and it's Major. Major gets out of bounds around the 20-yard line.
Good throw and catch. Better block by number 12, though, out there from the slot. Did you see that? Drake Stoops' little block out there in front of his dad. he says, oh, he's going to let us do our job and get out.
All right,
Good
second and one.
Coach.
At the 22. Great to see Big Game Bob Stoops. Son Drake is having just a spectacular career at Oklahoma. And here's a handoff with some running room. Major. And he's down at the 10. But a flag on the play.
Yeah, they're going to get Troy Everett, looks like 52 for a hold. He was pulling around. They've been using these pulling linemen. He's the left guard 52 right in the middle of your screen, and watch as he engages right here, and then he's going to sling the defender down to the ground. I think that was Brian Threats, the safety, who came up to stop him. Draws the flag, and it backs the Sooners up just a bit.
Tawee Walker comes in at running back. 2nd and 11 at the 32. Gabriel out wide to Stoops, and Stoops will be taken down at the line of scrimmage. Dorian Jones, great defensive play, no gain.
You know, it's so fascinating right now just watching the chess match play out between the two play callers. Brian Brown, the defensive coordinator, and Jeff Levy, the offensive coordinator. And right now, because Andrell Anthony has had such a great game, over 100 yards, he's got to put a safety over the top. And so that side of the field, there's some softness in the middle zones. There's Anthony down to the bottom of your screen, and you see the safety. He's got to be on top of that.
Andrell Anthony, 6 catches, 112 yards. Gabriel underneath. Stoops again, dives forward and gets to the 21.
Boy, I think they're going to put him just short here, and this is a great time to be aggressive if you're Coach Venables. Keep your offense on the field and go for this on 4th down. Remember, in this second half, Gus, their run game has really gotten going.
So Coach Venables going for it, 4th down and 1. Marcus Major in the backfield with Gabriel. Option. Gabriel keeps it and picks up the first inside the Cincinnati 20. A 4-yard pickup.
You're going to read this player on the outside of the line of scrimmage. It's key that the quarterback attack the inside shoulder of that pitch player, and as soon as he gets any width whatsoever, then you take it, and it's called knifing it as a quarterback or a runner, and you get the line to gain. That's a really good job by Dylan Gabriel on a nondescript play of doing what he's taught.
1st and 10 at the 18-yard line. Marcus Major remains in the game at running back. Gabriel gives it to Major, and he may have run into one of his teammate rather. No gain on the play as he goes down.
At this point, with the way that the Cincinnati offense has sputtered in the scoring territory, this is a must right now to stop this OU team and hold them to a field goal. You see the run game has been much better in the second half. 8 rushes, 51 yards, as opposed to what they did in the first.
2nd down and 10 at the 18. Gabriel near side, caught Anthony. Andrell Anthony having another big day. Wisely left Ann Arbor, where he didn't really see a good fit for Oklahoma, and he is turning out to be a star.
Now back-to-back 100-yard days for Andrell Anthony after only having the one. And by the way, his real first breakout game, that was a game against Michigan State for the Wolverines, but now back-to-back here for the Sooners.
3rd down and 5 at the 13. Gabriel sprinting out, trying to square in the end zone. Incomplete. That one thrown in the corner into what looked like triple coverage, as Farouk was the only white jersey in the vicinity.
Brian, Threats was there. OU wants a flag here because as Threats was coming over the top, watch number 10. He's going to make contact with Farouk right there and then play the ball. And OU wanted a flag. Their sideline reacted. The flag never came out. And now the Sooners have to settle for a field goal.
So that will bring on Zach Schmidt. Good from 34 yards today. This one will be from 31. And it's good. OU takes the points. Fourth quarter, Sooners extending their lead. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years.
Pacific Life Game Summary sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years. Well, this OU offense went right down the field, got their run game going. Dylan Gabriel paid it off with a touchdown in this second half. Cincinnati, they just have not figured it out inside the 25-yard line. One field goal, one missed field goal, an interception, and a turnover on downs. This OU defense has done some work. They've given up only 279 total yards today, Gus, and only 85 of those so far on the ground. And this is a Bearcats team that wants to live running the football, and the Sooners have basically shut them down.
Gabriel, this is his 19th career 300-yard games. Unbelievable accomplishment. Tomorrow it's a huge doubleheader on Fox, starting with Derek Carr and the Saints taking on Jordan Love and the Packers or other regional action. Then in America's Game of the Week, Justin Fields and the Bears battle Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs or the Cowboys Cardinals, all on Fox and the Fox Sports app. You follow the NFL a lot. You think the Cowboys are for real this year, Joel?
Certainly look like that. Or doesn't help that Diggs went down, though. I mean, he's been so good on the outside at corner for them. If you haven't heard, tore his ACL in practice this week, so we'll miss the year.
All right, Cincinnati looking for some points. They'll run it on first down with Miles Montgomery. Huge gain, gets to the 40. Canick with the tackle, 16-yard pickup.
Yeah, and that's really one of the best runs that we've seen from Cincinnati today. They just haven't been able to get it going on the ground.
Here's a handoff. Montgomery again on the edge. Crosses the 40 up to the 44. 2-yard gain.
Nice tackle by Kendall Dolby. He came up, flying up from his safety position. Made a good tackle there on the outside.
Second down and 8 at the 43. Jones in trouble. Jones, and he's sacked at the 30-yard line. Guess who? Danny Stutzman.
What you get here is you get all the offensive linemen covered up on one side, and then you get a blitzer to that side. The back doesn't get there in time, and Stutzman and this aggressive nature on defense gets to the quarterback. I tell you, when they're downhill, they are downhill in a hurry.
A loss of 12 with the sack. Third down and 19. Jones running. Jones, burst of speed, and he'll pick up the first down. Emory Jones using his legs. Kenai Walker knocks him out of play, but the chains keep moving. On third and 19, they get 20.
I mean, that was basically in a two-possession game with 9 minutes. That's kind of the game right there. Moving the chains, and Emory Jones does a great job of evading the pressure in the pocket and then getting the line to gain.
Bearcats have to throw caution to the wind right now. Down 20-6 at home.
The advantage is the outside. They've got tall wide receivers. If they can protect the quarterback, they've got to take shots to the outside with their big wide receivers.
First down at the 48. Here's the handoff right. Kiner. Stutzman in on that play defensively after the 6-yard pickup.
Yeah, I know that this sounds crazy, but they might have a better chance of scoring a touchdown on a big pass play from outside the 25, because it certainly looks today and even last week as if this offense bogs down once they get to the 25 and inside the 20-yard line.
Second down and 4.
Kanek went down late, and the crowd not happy about it.
Jaren Kanek, sophomore from Hayes, Kansas. And he goes down. Back after this. Welcome back, Coach V. And the Sooners up 20-6. Cincinnati faced with a 2nd and 4 at the Oklahoma 42-yard line. Jones steps up in the pocket, runs into his teammate, and goes down at the 39. 2-yard gain. Marcus Stripling with the tackle.
But you can tell, though, Emory Jones is doing a great job when he's been under duress. Let's face it, this pass rush has been immense in this second half, and so as soon as he doesn't see his first read, he's trying to get as much as he can get.
3rd down and short. They need 2 up the seam, incomplete. And it's almost stiff with 7:49 to go, down 20-6. They're going to have to go for it on 4th down here.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Boy, that one was close. Henderson has a step right there in the back end. Kenai Walker was in coverage. Transfer from Louisville, played under Satterfield. And Walker was step for step, and the ball just out of the reach of Xavier Henderson.
4th down and 2. Big play here for Cincinnati. Jones under pressure, sidearm. Oh, and it is intercepted at the 25 by Billy Bowman. Oski. That ball deflected and finally pulled down by Bowman.
Twice, Gus, this ball was batted up into the air. Great pressure from OU's defense. Jones tries to make a play. Up once, up twice. Oski, Sooners with the ball. Sanders is going to have to play like the Heisman candidate he is.
One thing that we need to check in with Jenny Taft.
Well, unfortunately, Oklahoma linebacker Jaren Kanek, he has gone to the ambulance, guys. It appears to be precautionary in many ways, but he was having a hard time catching his breath. There was some blood as well. His pads were off after he left the medical tent, but right now he is heading into the ambulance.
All right, thank you very much, Jen. 2nd and 10 at the 26. Oklahoma in no rush now. Here's the run with Major.
And it's, Jenny, such an important update there and a great job because things are not always what they appear. Remember, Kanek just kind of went down before the snap. Fans upset, thought that it might have been from a strategy standpoint, but clearly not the case as Kanek was struggling on the field. And now Bearcats have to get off the field here. This is an absolute must for this defense.
3rd down and 6. At the 30-yard line for OU. Gabriel to throw it, rolls, and just dumps it incomplete. Good pressure by this Cincinnati team. Guess who? Dante Corleone. Dante, a young man that plays for his mom.
Yeah, and rightly so. Was raised by his mother, Rashida Miles. And there's a late flag here, Gus, and they're going to say this is an intentional grounding.
Loss of down at the spot of the foul. 4th down.
The issue there was that even though he was outside of the pocket or headed that direction, the ball did not get past the line of scrimmage. Can't just throw it down into the ground like that, in particular when that rush was so close.
OU punting it from inside their own 10. Smith back deep at the 34. Blaster ready to send it away. Gets it off. Line drive to the far side. And it's picked up and out of bounds around the 34. 6:42 to go in the fourth. 20-6 OU. Back after this. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Welcome back. 20-6 OU. And our Mark Ingram's having a great time. Look at him. He's still got those great feet.
Yeah, he does. And by the way, he's had a great time at every. Look at her. Coach Meyer's like, what are we all doing that or? Oh man, Mark, what a great addition he's been to Big Noon Kickoff. Those guys have been doing an awesome job before these games every single week.
All right, first down and 10 from the 33 for Cincinnati. Jones. Sideline throw, and it's caught. Mateer. He's had a solid game, made some nice catches today. Shaman gains 8, second and short. In motion now. Mateer lines up. As a fullback in the backfield, they hand it off. Wright still running. And he'll get to midfield before being pushed back.
Boy, and Wright comes in the game, and he is rarely used. I think that's only his 5th carry on the season coming into this. So Wright getting some run here late in this ball game.
First down from the 50. Henry Jones winds up. Deep ball. Sideline. And incomplete.
And again, letting a little contact go. These officials have been consistent. I know that there's been frustration on both sides, and there's been times when I've expected a flag out and haven't seen one. They have allowed these defensive backs all day to play physical and play with contact when the ball is in the air.
Second down at midfield and 10. Here's the handoff. Right again, and not a lot. No gain for the Bearcats. Kip Lewis defensively for Oklahoma. Third and 10. Jones wants to run. Jones. And he'll go out of bounds at the 47. Kip Lewis, Stutzman, knocking him out of play, and that'll bring up fourth down.
Yeah, and this is it. Obviously, 2-possession game. Have to have it right now with now 5 minutes, and there's got to be some urgency, and Cincinnati just not playing with the pace that they need right now. But this all starts with protecting the passer. I would not be shocked at all if Oklahoma brings a little pressure.
Fourth down and 7. Jones in trouble, and Jones is sacked once again. Wow. Rondell Bulthroyd, and a flag on the play.
Offside. Defense number 15 lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Remains fourth down.
Boy, what a massive mistake there from Dolby, and it erases the sack from Bothroyd, who had a great rush on that top side, the right side of the defense. There he is lined up in the slot. They say he's all the way in the neutral zone. Does look like he's across that blue line. And now Cincinnati lives to snap it another down.
Fourth down and 2 now. Here's Jones. Dancing in the pocket, looking, bottled up, and looks like he will not get it. Danny Stutzman keeps him away from the first down marker. And UC turns it over on downs.
What a tackle on the open field. There's Stutzman. He's also getting a little help from Ethan Downs, and you see him kind of wrap up his ankles, and Jones is unable to dive and reach. He's trying to reach that ball out, has to get to the 40. And Cincinnati on 14 consecutive possessions now without a touchdown, and this Sooner defense puts the nail in the coffin here today at Nippert Stadium. They have played outstanding ball. High volume, highly aggressive, downhill, led by number 28. And he makes the last play of the day for that defense, which has played so well here, only giving up 6 points.
First down at the 41 now for OU. Here's a handoff straight ahead. Major. Corleone with the tackle. Gain of 3. Let's take a look at what's coming up for the Sooners.
Well, I mean, you can't talk about this team pre-October 7th without just looking at that game against Texas. And obviously Texas riding high after the game and win at Alabama. And that looks to be an absolute monster game there in Red River. And after that, I mean, to be very fair, you know, this is a very manageable schedule, and the winner of that game is certainly going to feel like they'll have a great opportunity to be the #1 seed in the Big 12 championship game.
Remember, Texas beat OU 49-0 last year in the Red River rivalry. I'm sure the Sooners want a little playback after that shellacking.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And remember, the 2 games where they had lopsided losses a year ago, even in a 6-7 season, it was when Dylan Gabriel did not play or was injured in the game. And so you think about that, and every other game was a 1-possession game that they lost. Gus, they were 0-5 in those 1-possession games. That's why, and you said it earlier, yeah, it's, you know, what do they have on offense? What is it going to look like this year? Is Dylan Gabriel going to play well? That's certainly a question. But for you OU faithful, you Sooner fans, you know that the question was more about the defense. And the defense was the one that was under scrutiny, giving up over 30 points, over 400 yards per game a year ago. And if you wanted to turn those 5 close losses into 5 close wins or even more, it was going to be because of the defense. And they've certainly answered the bell here today. I think this was their biggest test so far this year, and they've passed with flying colors.
Answering the bell. Very interesting choice of words. Joel, 3rd down and 5 at the 46. Gabriel with the quarterback run, looking for the first down, and he has it. You know, I think, you know, the worst punch in boxing is the one that you don't see. And I don't think they saw Lincoln Riley leaving the way he left. And it seems like it threw this program off for a second.
Well, certainly. I think, let's face it, not only the fan base at OU, the entire college football world was surprised and I'll even say shocked when that happened. But you see the defensive improvement there from last year to this year. And part of, let's face it here, part of the reason why the OU fans loved the idea of Brent Venables wasn't just because he had a great history there as a defensive coordinator under Bob Stoops, but also because, Gus, the main problem with Oklahoma under Lincoln Riley was that they did not have a requisite defense to win in the playoff. And they weren't able to get that done. And the Sooner faithful felt like this was the man that was going to come back and reinvigorate that defensive side of the ball to put them back on that top echelon in college football.
And you saw that with Lincoln Riley's USC Trojans last year at the end of the season. The defense really just falling apart when they needed them the most.
Yep. And to be fair, that USC defense is better this year. Now, they haven't been tested at all. And now that everyone in Oklahoma is done throwing something at the television, you know, we look at this OU team, and again, I think a lot of it has to do with this schedule. Yeah, that's a monster game against Texas, but if you look at this conference, I really don't see the team that's going to threaten either Texas or Oklahoma this year for those top 2 seeds. Maybe it's Kansas State, maybe it's Texas Tech, or maybe even TCU. But I got to tell you, these 2 teams, I believe, are the class of the conference here this year, and very well might end up facing each other in the Big 12 championship game.
And when you look at Cincinnati, after this game, Coach Satterfield is going to be under a little bit more pressure as you take a look. Up next, BYU, Iowa State, not being able to score touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's become a problem.
And let's face it, they are used to winning here. You know, this is a very successful program and has been over the last few years. You know, there's definitely some winnable games there, but they had a 32-game home winning streak snapped at the end of last year against Tulane. They had won 32 in a row at Nippert. Now they're going to basically lose 3 of their last 4. These fans are not used to that. And I will defend Scott Satterfield in terms of this. In this era, when there's a coaching change, there is an exodus of players. And he had to try to rebuild this team in some position groups after spring ball. And I think the lack of execution, in particular on offense and in particular inside the 25, that's evidence of the way that they had to build this roster in such a rushed manner late last year.
They're down in 5. They'll run it. Major looking for the first down. Has it in more. Flag on the play, though. As he gets inside the 20. It's a 19-yard gain if it stands.
Holding. Offense number 70. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
That's Caden Green. Gus, a young player for them that they really like. 6'5", 316 pounds. There he is in the middle of your screen working against 97 Eric Phillips. Kind of got him around the jersey. Caden Green's a true freshman. He was a highly recruited top 100 player out of high school, and he's come in and he's done a nice job, and he's the type of guy that they really look forward to in terms of his future and his talent level.
They've had some great ones come through the doors on that O-line at Oklahoma.
First rounder last year, Anton Harrison. Third rounder last year, and Wanye Morris. You know, they were constantly in the running as one of the best offensive lines in college football. They ran it so well for so many years. It was a bit of a struggle last year, and to be fair, it hasn't been great this year running the ball, but I will say this, even against this very good defensive line, I thought the run game in the second half was a lot better here today.
3rd and 15. Here's the run with Major. Not a lot. That'll bring up 4th down. And the Bearcats call a timeout. They are now out of timeouts.
Yeah, I don't think they called a timeout.
Actually, they didn't timeout. Didn't call a timeout. Pardon me. Clock continues to run with 1:12 left. Cincinnati is out of timeouts.
I think OU will just take the delay of game here, most likely, and punt it away inside of a minute. Good win on the road for them. Really good win. I know, you know, they might look at this 20 points and say, boy, we probably could have gotten a little bit more offensively. Yeah, that might be the case. I do think the Cincinnati defense, though, had something to say about that. That's a good defense. Dylan Gabriel certainly played well in the second half. His experience is going to be so big for this team.
He looked poised.
He did.
Experienced.
Think about some of those scrambles that he made, some of the throws that he made down the field, and they've got guys out there now. No. Actually, they got dudes on the outside. Man. They got dudes out there.
Line drive. And it will be down inside the 15. With 44 seconds remaining. Oklahoma will remain undefeated, improve to 4-0. Cincinnati falling to 500, 2-2. 17th 4-0 start for the Sooners since 2000.
Think of what Bob built, man.
Bob Stoops.
I mean, we've been around, you know, Coach for a while now. He worked with us, and he's always around. I didn't even play for the guy. I love him. I love him like I played for him. It's wild.
There's a pass over the middle for Kiner. Still running, wants to get out of bounds and stop the clock, and he does.
Although I did help him win a Big 12 championship.
Did you while you were at Colorado?
That's right. That's right. That's right. I played so poorly in that game. Sooner they were going to win anyways. So, that's the way it goes.
Well, as Coach Stoops would probably say, every little bit helps. Second down and 1. Underneath, the ball caught at the 34. Nice catch by D. Wiggins. With 30 seconds to go.
Looking forward to that Red River game. That's going to be a good game between OU and Texas.
Who do you like in that game?
I'd just say it's going to be a good game.
Okay.
I don't want to get
Chris Jones out of bounds.
in trouble in this one.
Ewers playing well for the
Man.
Texas Longhorns.
And that
We saw him last year against Alabama. He was off to a great start and then got hurt.
played great against Alabama this year. Here's the thing in that game.
What's up with Arch Manning? Is he going to stay around, you think?
Who knows, man? In this day,
In this day and age?
who knows? But here's the thing, and OU fans know this. Texas plays up or down to their level of competition, so you know, like, they'll be ready for that game.
Different looking Sooners team this year as Kiner trying to create.
Good win here today, though. On the road, Big 12 opener. Coach Venables will take it. Sooner fans will take it. Nicely done.
Final play of the game. Jones wants to step into his throw, sidearms it, and knocked down fittingly. And that's how it will end. McKenzie knocking it down, and Oklahoma comes into Cincinnati and defeats the Bearcats 20-6 to remain undefeated on the season. Up next, Iowa State.
I think if there's an underrated team that right now is outside of the top 15 that could make a little noise, make a conference championship run, make a playoff run, I think it's Oklahoma. And I think we saw evidence of that today. An offense that can move it, a quarterback that's experienced, electricity on the outside, and a defense, more importantly, that can get stops. And they certainly did that today.
All right, our Jenny Taft is downstairs with Coach V.
Well, Coach, it's a good sign when I can start by asking you about your defense, right? They only give up 6 points today. They're led by guys like Danny Stutzman. How pleased are you with the performance?
Yeah, I love the fight, the courage, the toughness that they showed today. They just kept playing, you know, and regardless of what was going on the field, they continued to just have the right mindset, playing and competing to a standard. Every single snap, really proud of them.
Dylan Gabriel's 19th career 300-yard game. How comfortable are you with the way he is leading your offense?
No, he was fantastic, and there's lots of different ways to win. And, you know, I loved how we complimented each other. We had to, again, there's going to be opposition. Things aren't always going to be easy. And, you know, our guys just focus on, you know, the next play, have a, you know, mindset of what's next, the next play. And I love the fight and the toughness. They came out in the second half and put together a couple drives when they needed to, made some big plays. Dylan's fantastic. Love his little option play there, made it a great decision, and put him in a really bad position on the other side of the ball. But really, really good, strong win for us on the road.
Well, congratulations, 4-0, Coach. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Oklahoma victorious in Cincinnati. Your final thoughts?
This OU team is for real, and this is another year in their last year in the Big 12 that they'll be looking for another conference title, and they're certainly good enough.
The final score at Nippert Stadium, Oklahoma 20, Cincinnati 6. We'll have more from Cincinnati with Rob Stone and the guys after this break. For Jenny Taft and Joel Klatt, I'm Gus Johnson saying so long and have a wonderful day.